Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Stacey, and guess what? It is officially fall. You may think that all your gardening jobs outside are done, but not at all. You know I always have a long to-do list for you, but I know in the end you always like the outcome. So now it is time for fall bulb planting. And what do I mean by that? Okay, people get confused when it comes to this, the timing. You plant bulbs in the fall for spring bloom. If you're looking for summer bloom, then those bulbs get planted in the spring, and they're in an entirely different set of bulbs altogether. So there are definitely some rules of thumb when it comes to planting bulbs, but it's not hard, it's not difficult at all, and it's beautiful weather to get outside and do this. So I'm going to demonstrate all in a flower pot here, but really the method is going to be very similar as planting in the ground. And the other thing maybe you don't know is that you really can do this. You can plant in a flower pot. Now I know through the winter this is going to look like a dirt pot, but in the spring on your front stoop, I promise once these bulbs start to come up, it'll be adorable and you'll love it. So one of the main differences here is that I have a potting mix inside here, and I really would want you to use a different amendment when you're planting in the soil. So I really would want you to use more of a planting mix. This has got more compost in it, and it's a little denser for the ground. So that's one difference between a pot and planting in the ground. There's also a really other very important rule of thumb when it comes to planting, and that is timing of bulbs. So usually you kind of want the night temperatures to be consistently in the 50s and all the way down to the 40s. When you get those nighttime temperatures, perfect time to plant bulbs. If you plant the bulbs way too early, you could get some growth, and then they don't harden off enough for the winter. And if you plant them too late, they may not be able to establish a good root system going into the winter time. So nighttime temps, 50s, all the way down into the 40s. Gives you a long period of time to do this. Okay, the other thing that's really important is the planting depth of a bulb. And there's a really easy rule of thumb when it comes to that. So I've taken the largest bulb that I have here. This is an allium bulb, a gorgeous globe, purple globe. And this is one of the bigger bulbs. This one is probably about 2 inches high. So you always look at what the height of the bulb is. This is about 2 inches. And then you plant it 3 times deeper than the height. So this is a 2-inch bulb. Times 3, I'm going to plant this one 6 inches deep. So I'm actually going to do that right in my pot here. Now, okay, obviously in the pot, this is really easy to just dig this in because this potting soil is really loose. There are many methods of planting bulbs, but you can do individual bulb cutters, which will make individual holes, or you could do augers that go on your drill bit, or you could take a trowel or a shovel and dig an entire trench, especially if you're doing a lot of bulbs at once. One thing I can recommend is don't really plant your bulbs in rows. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but it doesn't lend as well in the landscape as it does when you plant them in groups, like groups of 3 or 5 or 7. Always tends to look a little more natural and just a little pretty. So that was our biggest bulb. That was the allium, 2 inches tall. We planted it 6 inches deep. The other thing now is we're going to layer. This is another thing that people probably don't know about, and it's a really, really great look, guys. So this is now a tulip bulb. This is smaller than the allium bulb, maybe 1.5 inches tall. So, technically that would be 4.5 inches deep. You don't have to be so super precise, but this is going to get planted about 4 to 5 inches deep, just based on the height. And the thing that's kind of neat is I'm going to stagger it. I have the allium down here 6 inches. Now, just kind of off to the side, I'm going to plant this tulip bulb down a good 4 to 5 inches. So it's still on top of the allium, but not right on top of it. To the side, but up higher. Next, I'm going to take I should show you guys too, sorry. This is the allium that I just planted. This is the gorgeous yellow tulip, and I'm doing a yellow and purple theme in this pot. You could choose any theme you want. Now I'm going to do a small grape hyacinth. This is one of my favorite ones, and this is a really cool one because it's purple, and it goes up to a white. It's not just that solid traditional purple, which I think is really cool. Now, the grape hyacinth bulb is a lot smaller, maybe just 1 inch tall. So rule of thumb, times 3, 3 inches depth for planting. I'm going to go a little bit off to a different position from where I planted the tulip and the allium, and I'm just going to plant this one down 3 inches deep. Then I'm going to move on to my last layer, which is crocus. We all know crocus, but this is yellow crocus, so that makes it a little different. And then the crocus bulb is maybe only about 1/2 inch tall. So this one is going to get planted the most shallow. So, really probably about 3 inches deep is appropriate for this one. Maybe 2.5, really, just to kind of scooch it up. But you want to have enough soil on top of it. So I'm going to plant that one as well. So now I have not only a layering effect in here, I have different heights, different colors. They're all going to kind of come up, and you'll get a little show of color in the spring, this pot, just as you would in the ground. There's one other thing I want to mention. Squirrels love it when humans go out and plant bulbs. They think that you nicely went out and planted a whole bunch of acorns for them. So we want to discourage them. This is a really great product. It's all natural. This is a squirrel repellent. I recommend putting this right in the holes with the bulbs and also sprinkling it over top. It just deters them because it has a smell and a taste that they don't like. So I highly recommend that. Or they'll think all that work was done for them. The other thing, it's really important to fertilize. You could put bulb tone or bone meal right into the hole. If you don't do it right into the hole, at least sprinkle it right over top and water it in really well. Talk about watering. Okay, so we do want our fall planted bulbs to remain pretty damp. We never want them soggy. Do not plant bulbs in a really wet, low spot. You will get bulb rot if you do that. So you do want to have a drier area to plant them in. And also about watering, in the fall, usually we get a lot of natural moisture, but if we're not getting a lot of rain, you should probably consider at least watering the ground at least once a week. The pot, what I would do is just keep this kind of evenly damp. This may be just a couple times a week that you water this. And guess what, you guys? So I told you your work is not done, but this is a great fun project. You can do this with the kids. This is fun for the whole family. And then next spring, after you've planted these fall bulbs, you will be rewarded with tons of color in this pot and in your yard. Thanks a bunch. See you next time.